Welcome to the Not Null Podcast. I'm just an AI voice, but here are your real hosts, Kevin Doyle, Paul Bratzlovsky, and Bobby Davis.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast, the tech podcast where we discuss everything from AI to VR and robots to flying cars. I'm Kevin Doyle, and this week I am joined by Bobby Davis and Paul Bratzlovsky. And coming up in this week's episode, Microsoft is going nuclear. We've reintroduced our SKYNET WATCH section specifically to talk about the latest round of deepfakes that have come along. DALL-E3 was released, and it's actually good. If you're a DALL-E2 fan, which not many people were, this is a big jump. So we'll talk about DALL-E3. And then we'll round up our episode by talking about the null, not null recommendations, where we recommend that you avoid a product or service. So it looks like Microsoft may be looking to nuclear reactors to power its data centers and AI. They haven't confirmed this yet. This is based on a job posting. So a confirmation aside, it looks pretty much like it's a done deal though, because the job posting is for a principal program manager nuclear technology, specifically in the area of small modular reactors, or SMRs as they're known. So earlier this year, back in January, the US Nuclear Regulatory Commission certified an SMR design for the first time. So we know this is a thing that's coming, and Microsoft obviously has a lot of power, consumption between data centers and the AI that they're running. So this makes sense. This makes sense that they would have this job, that they are going to be going nuclear, if you will. So looks like they're going to be in the market for some highly enriched uranium coming up here soon this year. I don't know. They're going to chase down Libyans in a parking lot, Back to the Future style. I don't know. But apparently these SMRs use this highly enriched uranium, so they're going to be in the market for that, which will be interesting. I don't know where you buy that from, but there you go. The other tie here too is Bill Gates is also a fan of this. So there is a tie here. He's a founder of a company called TerraPower. That's an incubator developer for SMR designs. So there is some loose affiliation here. They haven't said that's where they're going to be getting it from, like I said, or even confirmed they're going to be going nuclear. But it looks pretty much like they are. It would make sense too.
Done deal.
Conspiracy theories. That's what it is.
Conspiracy theories.
Maybe. So, Bobby, I know this is an area of interest for you. What do you think? Are we ready for nuclear power, powering our data centers and AI?
I think we have to. I mean, if we push every car on the planet into an electrical grid, we got to generate more electricity somehow. And I just don't think wind or solar is going to cut it. And if it would or could, these guys would stand up wind farms because it's easier to do. It's probably cheaper to build those things. There's just not enough power for them to use these things, use power AI or anything like that. We don't need to build them like 3 Mile Island, which is cool. So the technology is improving, and then you can make them smaller. I mean, I guess nuclear waste is a problem. How do we get that?
Still a problem.
How do you get highly enriched uranium? Well, you just call Bill Gates up. He's got some.
Allegedly.
The
thing is, he doesn't know.
Need
it. Well, apparently nobody does. The
Russians do.
Russians do, apparently, is one of the things. So it's how's that going to go? I don't know. But so we'll see how. There's no good having it if you don't have the fuel to power it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Buying the thing, yes, but fueling it, maybe another.
I think it's a good move. I mean, we need all kinds of electricity, and especially if these data centers are taking up that much power out of the commercial grid, then I guess the government's going to have to say, hey, man, you're going to have to go find your own electricity somehow, some way, or we're going to, limit the amount of power that you can consume. Or, Microsoft has so much pull in the government, they say, well, we need 6% of all electricity, so you guys have brownouts now. So somehow, some way, we got to add more supply into this equation so that we can actually power all these things. It's insane how much electricity we use at a household. Imagine if you look at my house, it's always got some kind of electrical draw on it. Kind of crazy. But I definitely think it's going to happen. I mean, I think you're going to see these things pop up in small cities. Kernersville could have a SMR sitting around, around the Burger King. something like that.
Would you want to live next to it though? Like, I don't know that I would.
Would you? I don't know. I mean, they say that the big electrical lines in the sky cause cancer now. So, like, if you live near those things and all of the electricity, who knows? I mean, if it blew up, yeah, you're going to die.
I think the chances of that are happening are probably
small.
Slim. I'm looking at, the world-nuclear.org, seeing how safe nuclear power reactors are. And depending which resources you're reading, apparently they're way better for the environment. And so, submarines,
I think they are.
Submarines are powered by nuclear reactors, like the military ones. I think the flight carrier is powered by a nuclear reactor. So, I mean, they're in production, just not unlike, everywhere.
I think on the front end, it's a clean technology. The problem is on the back end, it's a very, very, it's the worst of worst dirty technologies. So overall, I think it's quite bad. I think if you could do this with solar or wind, that would be the answer. I just don't think we can because we can't harness it yet. Not that there's not enough power there, because there's definitely enough power there. It's just we can't harness it correctly.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. If they come up with like better ways of disposing the stuff, I guess it would make more sense. But again, it depends which article you read. There's article for each opinion on the internet saying how the way that they dispose nuclear waste now, it's actually, if it's not tampered with, it's fairly safe.
But it's still got to go somewhere. These things have like a half-life of they centuries, don't they? It's bad.
Yeah, they put them under the ground, a bunch of concrete layers. It's fine. When I was little, I had the bright idea. I was like, just put them on a rocket and send them into space, being like, that makes perfect sense until like the rocket blows up and pollutes the whole world, Like when you're a child, you have these grand ideas just to realize maybe not so good.
I think the thing is with nuclear waste, don't forget, is there's that you can bury it and you can put it away because there's a limited amount of it, right? So, but when it becomes like Microsoft has one and Kernersville has one, then what do you do with it? Now you've got a lot more of it, and the potential for them just to like not handle it correctly is way, way higher.
Isn't this how like every movie starts, where like the rich people live in space or in these like high-rise apartments where all the peon people like us, we live in the dirt, probably mutated because of all the nuclear waste that we have. So, either or, I think it gives a change of scenery,
I'm going to like step out on the limit of my science knowledge, but I think there's two types, fission and fusion. And so like, I think fusion pushes the atoms together, fission tears them apart. I think if they could get fusion to work, I think that doesn't create waste.
Yeah, but I don't think they can.
No, they can't. It doesn't exist currently right now.
Yeah.
But I mean,
this is LK99 stuff right here.
Yeah.
You know what? It does exist. It's in all the UFOs. It's a fusion powered, whatever that material's called,
Maybe.
whatever. Yeah.
Maybe.
Bill Gates is researching this too. That's part of his thing, is research that technology. And supposedly they have something.
I mean, not conspiracies like, it's not a conspiracy. He actually is doing that. He has a company that's doing it.
Like, he does.
Legit.
So, once again, Bill Gates, he's controlling the world. He's a Bond villain.
Hey,
that's what he's doing.
He's not. He's a good guy. I like Bill Gates. He's no Elon Musk, though.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Elon just isn't good at Twitter.
I don't know. I don't think Elon's.
I think that's the only difference between Bill Gates and Elon, is that Bill Gates just stays away from Twitter and Elon doesn't, but they're probably both like just as evil.
They both have white cats they stroke at night.
Yes. I had a friend, he got so upset when I just even hinted at the fact that Bill Gates might not be the best person with moral standards. He got so upset. I think I was not invited for dinner for a while. I was like, come on. But
yeah. So I do think this is a problem that we have to solve, I think, in the next 5 to 10 years. There is no way our electrical grid works if we convert to electric cars by 2030. There's no way.
You think the cars is the thing that pushes us over? That's the part that, like, yeah.
Is it the cars, or is it all the crypto mining at this point? That's what I want to know.
That's going to go away. Don't worry about that. That's done.
The other thing,
the data
there's still a bunch
AI,
of crypto bros over there. So,
oh yeah, but not as many
let's not let's be careful, Paul. Let's not offend people. You did offend people with your Roman fantasy thing. Let's not target the crypto bros now and say that
they need to get a job. Is that what you're saying?
You'll be in trouble.
No, they're all laughing in their billion-dollar yachts that they all bought with their crypto gains.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You guys don't buy the crypto hype anymore. You both just gave up.
No. Have you?
No, I'm not into crypto.
Do you have any crypto holdings?
No,
and have you looked at them?
I do.
Okay, that would be all you'd have to know. If you have some, you looked at them.
Yeah. No, I haven't looked in a while, but I know it's not doing as they assume. It's like the fool's like strategy or something is basically you're trying to sell to someone who's more of a fool than you are. So it's like,
yes,
I forgot what there's like a proper term for it.
I have some Ethereum, but I think I lost it because I used a browser-based wallet and then I switched computers.
Oh, that's not.
So.
Oh yeah, it's called the Greater Fool Theory. That's what crypto is based on.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
well, there you go.
And
you just
someone was saying,
a bunch of people now we're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna upset a lot of people, so might as well finish. Like, there's one guy, something Sailor, who always talks up crypto like crazy, and the theory there is that he lost so much money that he wants to convince and shield crypto to others to bring up the value back up, so he could sell again and just be like, I made out okay.
He's not
Makes
Elon.
sense.
He can't move the market like Elon can.
Yeah.
So let's talk about deepfakes in our latest SKYNET WATCH section. So recently, deepfakes, if you want to call them deepfakes, fakes have been around for a while, right? If you think back to digital photo manipulation, like Photoshop of days gone by, the early days of Photoshop, people said, oh, it'll be the end of like knowing what's real. Remember we used to say like picture it didn't happen, right? That was a thing. Like you needed proof, right? You need a picture or it didn't happen. Then Photoshop came along and ruined all that, right? So fakes have been around for a long time. And even before that, people were faking stuff before that. But, in the age of like the common person being able to fake something, you can fake something with Photoshop. So now even like video or it didn't happen isn't good enough, because that used to be the barrier, right? Like show me the video proof. And it was like, oh, I see it. I'm seeing it with my own eyes. It's on video. But now that's not even good enough either. So because recently, fakes posted on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, across all these social platforms, including Tom Hanks appearing in a dental ad was one of them. Looked like this on the screen here for those of you that are watching. Mr. Beast was featured in one as well on a TikTok iPhone giveaway, and then also Gayle King from CBS was in one where it was like a weight loss ad. So I watched these. At least I didn't see the Tom Hanks one because the video wasn't there, but the Mr. Beast one and the Gayle King one, they're like typically what you'd expect from kind of a deep fake of today, right? They're kind of like borderline good enough, right? They're peripherally like, oh, okay, if I wasn't really, really watching, it looks real. The Mr. Beast one especially looked pretty good. You can see some of the things in there. It's not obviously a real
issues.
Video. Yeah, there's some issues, but most people would be like, oh, okay, yeah. You wouldn't think twice about it unless you were looking for it, I wouldn't say. Mm-hmm. Most people. So these are pretty bad. They all came out in the matter of a week, too. They're like, it was a few days apart. Like somebody reported, well, I think Tom Hanks was first, then it was like Mr. Beast, then Gayle King, and it was like, whoa, hold on. They're trying to push back on this. But here's the thing. This isn't actually illegal to do. Like there is no US legislation against deep fakes at this point. Now, what they might be doing is breaking laws around usage and obviously like civil things and stuff like that. And there are other things that they are, but basically making a deep fake in this way in itself, there is no legislation against that. You can technically,
which is crazy. Because one thing I was going to say, it is, because we did talk about this idea of deepfakes before and say how it could be a problem. We said it like maybe our second episode, and the idea that people who are going to have fakes made around their likeliness have to give permission. That would be the right thing to do. And when I look at this, it just shows to me that the technology is moving so fast that the laws can't keep up fast enough. Or people who make the laws don't really understand the repercussion of where it could lead, because we are, a bunch of people on the YouTube here were able to see that this was going to happen. And it's just funny that it actually took this long. So basically, it's like if someone's famous enough where now they're like, oh, I'm going to complain because it's my face that they're using. I'm going to make a big deal out of it. But it's like, but the fakes been, like you said, they've been around for such a long time. And like we were literally talking about this a while ago, how it is going to get abused just because it's a technology. And I feel like there should be some sort of repercussion for that.
Yeah, definitely. So I know earlier this year they were looking at fakes in pornography, right? They were looking at passing legislation to make that be a thing. Like, you can't do that. I think they need to go further.
Oh, of course
I think they just need to go. They were just taking it in that one niche because that was like such a big problem. But they need to like now look past that and be like, but I mean, these were like running scams and ads, right? One of them was for it wasn't a scam, essentially. It was for a dental place. Like, it's an actual ad for a place. The Mr. Beast one was a scam. I think the Gayle King one was for another product. So it was actually like product like usage. It's kind of crazy that there is no legislation against that, or that we are so far behind in that the technology is way far ahead of it.
Yeah, it's wild. And it just showcases how like slow it moves. I definitely see the validity in like adult industry and doing stuff like that, but it's like the normal extension of it, you could do with anything. Like, there could be a video of me at a traffic light voraciously picking my nose, and that's not me, it's a deep fake, right? And like, I didn't make
Are you sure?
I'm just saying, if you see it on TikTok because somebody released the public, obviously it's a deep fake and I'm not happy about it. Nobody asked me for my permission, so but I think that definitely could be a problem, because two things I could see. Number one, defamatory stuff where you do things that ruin someone's reputation. And it's the hardest thing to do once your reputation is ruined, regardless if it's true or not. It's hard to prove to the world otherwise anymore. It's something that's why they have like severe laws around it. And I'm surprised that does not include making things like with AI and making deep fakes, which I'm sure one big case, one big incident, it's all going to change for sure.
Well, I mean, if Tom Hanks can't solve it, who can, right? I mean,
I can.
How much bigger do you need to go?
I can solve it right now. Let's solve this right now. We can solve it right now. So I think here's a couple of things that we could do. First and foremost, if they're advertising a product, okay, and so let's say they're using the Gayle King, for example. I think it was weight loss or whatever it was.
Yeah, some kind of weight loss program.
Gayle King absolutely can have the rights where you can have the ability to collect revenue from that ad. And so she can like get paid whatever her current rate is or something like that, automatically send them a demand letter, and they have to pay it. So if you use their likenesses, then you have to pay it. The second thing is, I think that we can build a registry. And then if you're famous or you produce online content and you're worried about your likeness being used, then you can register your content with a URL, QR code or whatever. And then all the social media platforms have to support this, and that there's a QR code that comes down here in a little Mr. Beast logo. You can scan it. You can see if it's his or not. It's not there. It's not real. It's unfake. And then he can have a registry that he controls, Mr. Beast controls, and says, here's the valid content that I produce. It can be built into YouTube, TikTok, and everyone. And so they have to force these vendors support some kind of common registry. It would work like a certificate. So we have certificates now for domain names, or you could look at it like a secure token that it has in there, so it can't be faked or whatever. Then you have definite laws where you basically can sue them or send a demand letter, and you can, if they do it, the judgment's already predefined. You just sue them out of business. So then you would cut down on legitimate companies trying to like, can't afford Mr. Beast, but we really like him, so we want to use his likenesses. You can't do it. Now the scams or the phishing ones, yeah, that's already illegal. So if you're already phishing, you can already go to trouble for that. What I don't understand, and what do you think about this, Kevin? We made a video last week that we pushed it out. It was instantly copyright or copy struck. It said,
yes, well, before we even published it. Yeah, before
we even published it. When we're talking about instant, I'm saying in like minutes. It was like, oh, you've got, and we're arguing fair use is fine.
Yep.
And if they come back and say, no, that's fine, we just won't release it. But for some reason, they can't identify these. And that makes no sense to me. This seems like it's purposeful on the platforms that are saying, well, we can't figure that out if that's Mr. Beast or not. It's not from his channel. it's from some other channel, it seems like instantly they would be able to say, hey, that's Mr. Beast. That's not from his stuff. So copyright strike, you can't see it instantly.
Well, I just don't think they have that. They just don't have that built in right now.
Well, they got it for music.
YouTube does.
Every movie, every TV show, everything, anything copyrightable.
No. Not on all the platforms don't have that built in. YouTube does.
Yeah.
But like TikTok doesn't, like Instagram doesn't. I can go and post a picture of Sylvester Stallone and I'm not going to get copyright struck and say that's not your picture.
Oh, so we could push our copyrighted video to another platform. Right,
yes.
Can you do that after the show?
What's crazy about this? Here we are complaining about deepfakes, which to me it's like already old news because that's the way deepfakes work. You have a video and you transpose or you train a model, and it takes time. We're now at Codex, Avatar, Metaverse, where you get a scan and it creates a lifelike representation of you that you're able to control in real time. And so to me, like the next step of this is people having these realistic avatars, which they could put in any environment, and they could just sit like I'm sitting here right now speaking, and it could be, let's say, I'm looking like Kevin right now, and and say whatever the craziest stuff I can. And to me, like that's very interesting because you kind of losing ownership of your identity, because the way I look at it, because the technology is getting better, just based on what we saw from Facebook and Meta, their examples, like you could literally create a model that is digital representation of you, that has your expressions, has your voice, and you're able to basically control it, yourself like a puppet. But the next step of that could be like, hey, I don't have to control it. It could be controlled by some version of ChatGPT 4 or 5 or 6 and 7. And so now you do have this digital avatar that is able to act on a, right now, obviously not its own accord, but you could give it prompts. And so it's going to really make it easy for people to do that. And I think like not having clear laws around it is going to lead to something crazy happening. Like imagine like you have, like, for instance, you have deep fakes where when there was a missile like that hit a building in Washington, it was like completely fake, but people shared on Twitter, even like Russia thought it was real. Well, imagine they have a deep fake of like any of the presidents doing like a thing saying, hey, there's a nuclear attack happening. That could create such a crazy, reaction that I think like there should definitely be, laws, or maybe there's something we don't know, but these AI companies have a way to easily detect what's a deepfake and what is not. And if so, like they should make it publicly available where it automatically says, like, I'm really for any content that's AI generated, especially video. It should say like AI generated, a watermark that you can't tamper with and you can't remove.
I think the absence of the watermark means that it's fake. And then you add the watermark to make it real. But the absence, so like you can remove any watermark, but if you remove it, it's fake. So it has to be on there for it to be licensed or whatever. I do think if you're famous at this point, you already have a name, image, likeness. People can't use it. And so they do already have a way to recourse and a way to sue now. Yeah. And so these people that went after Gayle King and did this should probably get a lawyer letter like by tomorrow. She took it down, but I guarantee you the lawyer sued them. It's not in the news.
Yeah, I don't know what the details are, but I would also assume that Tom Hanks looked at the legal aspects of it too. And Mr. Beast should be setting the stage for this, right? He's the right person to be able to like force this and make a video out of it, right? Like, why wouldn't he? Like, it seems like it's great. Like, why wouldn't he make a great video about finding the person who faked him and suing him?
It was like sign up for the free iPhone, which was a scam. The other two were like businesses. I don't know why businesses thought this was a good idea.
Right.
Tom Hanks owns that dentistry at this point.
Right.
That's what I would think. The dentist is like, hey, he's got free teeth cleanings for life, I guess, plus all of his friends and everyone else.
Yeah, it is weird. I agree. Like, what business thinks that's like, okay? I mean, obviously they didn't think it wasn't like, well, they obviously know that it's not technically illegal, like on a legal level. It may be
civilly, it's
like,
not right.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like exactly.
And then you do have to defend your likenesses. And that's why they came out so strong, because that's how they make money. That's their product. And I don't blame them. I mean, I would be too if I was trading on this moneymaker here. you know, then I would sue too, you know, but I have to train on my knowledge, and that's harder to do.
I wonder if it's gonna like lead to like some crazy ID thing that we all have to be part of that identifies us.
I think a
as,
registry of content is the thing.
I mean, I'm not even like thinking like registry of content, but us as people registered to a point where there's, I don't know if it's like a chip you implant or like an eye thing, like going really far down where it's like unless they're like, even if it's a video, if it doesn't have this code that gets generated in your eye, like people know you're not real or something like that, like something like going crazy. Like, I mean, like I said, I'm really excited for the world because I grew up on Terminator, Matrix, and all this stuff is slowly coming reality. And I just want to see like where are we going? Where are we heading? What's happening?
I think we're headed for a bust on all of this stuff too. I mean, like I do think that people will, once everything is fake, people just stop believing anything. I mean, like, it doesn't take long.
Close to that now.
Oh,
we're just like, whatever. Like, you know, I don't care. I mean, I don't see it. You know, we get blind to some of these things. How many people clicked on that Mr. Beast link? I will say it was ingenious. He does give away stuff. They went right down the line of something he might do.
Oh, it's on brand.
Except he charged $2.
Yeah.
You know, so like, you had to pay $2 the right to get an iPhone. I don't know how much money they made in 10 minutes, probably a lot. And then that's a scam, and those are harder to track down, but we can eliminate most of it by just saying, hey, if you do this legitimate business and the star is big enough, they're probably going to send you a bill for, how much do you think Tom Cruise costs for a commercial? What, 45 million or something like that?
Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise or
I don't know. Do they even do commercials?
Tom Brady got 55 million for FTX. I mean, like, so like,
oh, well, there you go.
I mean, like, so like, I would imagine they make a lot of money if they want to do. That's why they don't do many commercials. You know, that's why you see B-listers doing commercials because Tom Cruise.
It's the right pay range. Yeah.
Really, 100 grand? You want me to? Okay, how long? A day? Nah, I'm good. A dentistry? No, I'm good. I'll
Did you hear about that guy that became famous because he started making a deepfake Tom Cruise videos? And then he actually started an AI company that helps to make deepfakes. And he's done a bunch of movies where I think in one of the Fast and the Furious, they made Dom look younger. There's another movie where I think it was actually with Tom Hanks where they made him look younger. And so it's interesting, like if it's used with their permission, it's okay. And I totally get it. If it's done without your permission, it's of course it's wrong, but it's kind of wild. If you haven't seen Tom Cruise deepfakes, check them out. They're pretty hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, the technology is obviously great and can be used for things because if I am Tom Hanks, I'm never going to do the dentistry commercial. I'm never going to spend the day to do it, but would I want my likeness on it and make 100 grand for not actually doing anything? Maybe.
And then you go to the registry to go grab it to get a license for it. And then that goes out to the actor and they can approve what they want to put their license on. They don't do any work whatsoever. And bam, and then you can buy
sign me up.
The model or rent the model.
Or here's a conspiracy theory. Tom Hanks, he typically doesn't drink, very well-rounded guy. One day he drank a little too much, made a bad decision, got a call from his local dentist's office, and they're like, hey, we'd love to make a commercial with you. He made the commercial, then he woke up, sobered up a little bit, really, really embarrassed. And now he's like, I can't believe this deep fake that really looks like me. It's AI generated, obviously. Very
clearly
to
it was
that picture.
It was clearly a deep fake. He looked younger.
Yeah, I mean, but you do joke about that, but that will be a thing.
100%. Like
I'm predicting the first person to do it.
I did say that, right?
The first person to do it in the biggest way will be the former president. He will say something that didn't happen, and there'll be a video of it, and he'll be like deep fake. And that's going
to be honest, he probably already used that. He probably already used that.
Elon's already said that.
Times.
Elon's already said it.
Yeah. Elon. Yeah, there you go. It's going to be something like that. Yeah.
Goodness.
There you go.
It's a deep fake.
And that's why I think that, everything's gone through watermarked, where it was recorded, what it was done. If it doesn't have a watermark in it, it's not real. And so like every video coming forward has to have a watermark in it.
But how does that work though? If I see Tom Hanks walking down the street and I take a candid shot of him, is somebody going to say that's not Tom Hanks?
They might.
It clearly is Tom Hanks.
But-
what if I see Tom Hanks stab a teenager in the street and I video it and somebody's like, that's not Tom Hanks, doesn't have the watermark? I don't think it works that way. I don't think you can, because that...
They would say that Kevin Doyle took the picture.
Well, that doesn't mean anything.
So then there's a way for us to go back to ask Kevin Doyle. It's just like an eyewitness at that point, if that happened. If you're doing a legal setting, did you take this photo with your phone, yes or no?
That's
Yeah,
actually interesting.
Yeah.
Idea to have. Like,
I'm thinking more along the lines of just not necessarily something that did or didn't happen and the source is legitimate. You can verify that. The content you can't necessarily in all cases. But for a deep fake, just the small deep fakes, you can say that didn't come from Mr. Beast. That's not Mr. Beast saying those things because here's his list of things that he says he's created. And it's not on that list.
It's wild because remember a couple episodes, like many episodes ago, we talked about this idea. I think it was Snapchat. It was making avatar friends for people to communicate with. So this like idea with, like at first we were like, oh, image AI is so cool. And then video will take forever. Now video is getting like so much better, so much faster to this point that we are going to have these digital representations of humans that are going to be like very believable. And the question I have, I think, is like, are people going to, or how many people, like percentage wise, are going to be okay interacting with those avatars as if they're like normal people?
I think a lot are, and I think we're conditioned to do that. There's a lot of people that want to live that way. I do not, but like, there's a lot of people that would like that. I think there's a Bruce Willis movie, Replicant, or something like that, where people stayed in their pods and their robot body went out and did the work. I don't know if you've seen that movie. And he was the only guy walking around town in his real body. Yeah, it was kind of weird.
And all these movies that we saw as kids are becoming reality. It's like, oh gosh,
we maybe headed that way.
And it failed. That everyone had to come outside eventually.
The sun. Oh.
Exactly.
So OpenAI recently released DALL-E3 image generation. They upgraded from DALL-E2 to DALL-E3. It is a leaps and bounds like upgrade too. It's kind of crazy how much better it got. 3 over 2 is like it's 2 times, 3 times, 4 times better even. I would say it's very, very good. I've played with it. So it's available on you can get it on standalone. There's a website you can go to. You can get it. You can get it as part of ChatGPT 4 as well. Or my favorite implementation of it is in Bing. So you can go to Bing AI if you have access to Bing AI through the Edge browser, and you can ask it to generate an image there. It's pretty cool. So it's the great thing is it's free, seemingly with no limitations, which is pretty interesting. So my quick kind of review of it before we look at some images from it. For those of you that are watching, you can be able to see these. For those of you that aren't, I'll try and describe them a little bit. Some of the good and some of the bad then that I've personally seen with it. I would say on the good side of things, it makes good images way better than DALL-E 2. Like actually some really decent, like usable stuff. I would say DALL-E 2 in the most case was almost unusable. It just, the output just wasn't good, especially compared to something like Midjourney. Midjourney has been way ahead of it for the longest time. The one thing that it can do is include text. So I've heard some people say it does text flawlessly. I will tell you now, it does not do text flawlessly. If somebody tells you that, they are lying to you. It does text okay sometimes, and I'll show you some examples of that in a second. It's free, so it's free to use. So you can play with this in a bunch of different places. It's kind of interesting to do that with. And the integration with chat. It's a really simple to use interface, whereas I would say something like Midjourney is kind of complex. You got to go through Discord and you got to set up a Discord server and using Discord chat, and the interface is a little bit more difficult. This is straight within Bing Chat is the easiest way to use this. I set this up for my wife and she's been playing with it, making images on it. So I know that it's pretty straightforward and it's user friendly. On the bad side, it only creates square format images, 1-to-1 ratio, 1024 by 1024. That's it. You can't change the aspect ratio of it. Unlike Midjourney, you can make whatever aspect ratio you want. There's no outpainting or upscaling, so you can't upscale the images. They are 1024 by 1024, period. There is no outpainting, so you can't stretch them or change them in any way. They are just what they are. There's also no regeneration, so you can't just click another button and have it regenerate again. You can put the prompt in again and have it regenerate. and another version of it again. You can do that as many times as you like, but you got to reprompt it again. Whereas in something like Midjourney, it's just a button. You push it and it regenerates it. You can regenerate as many times as whatever credits you put on Midjourney. I will say too, sort of an apples to apples comparison. I did some kind of like putting the prompt in both of these image generators through Midjourney and through DALL-E 3. Sorry, I will say Midjourney still beats it. If somebody tells you that DALL-E 2 is the best, or DALL-E 3, sorry, is the best image generator on the planet, they are lying to you. It is not the best. Midjourney, I will tell you now, still holds that like pedestal. It's still number one. This is probably number two, and it's getting closer. But Midjourney still beats it in many, many ways. The image generation out of Midjourney is just better. It just is. And that's obviously my subjective opinion. But I also say if you look at it, it's an objective opinion too. It just is. That's fact. There's no other. If somebody argues the other way, they're just lying to you. I will say neither though have nailed hand generation yet. They just don't do it. Yeah. They just don't do hand generation. Neither of them do. So here's some images I got from it earlier. I told it to give me a billboard for the Not Null podcast, and it got the lettering almost. Pretty good. Look, this is what I was saying about the lettering. People will say it handles text perfectly. Well, clearly it doesn't. It kind of got it right. It handled text better than Midjourney would, because Midjourney is terrible on text. But I don't know who these people are because I didn't give it explicit instructions. I just said a billboard for the Not Null podcast, and this is what it came up with. One of the other examples, I asked it to then put it in Manhattan, and this is what it came up with. So it got not null this time, but this is just jargon up here, look. It just did not create actual letters.
All the signs are wrong.
And the signs are all wrong, look. They're just, again, it's,
pretty good, though.
It's pretty good. I agree. It's pretty good. It's way better than 2 was. Then I asked it to do a picture of Bill Gates surfing a big wave in Hawaii. And it flat out refused. It will not give me an image of Bill Gates. This kind of comes full circle to our earlier story of deepfakes. It will not deepfake, apparently, certain people.
Bill Gates
Bill Gates being one of them. I think very famous people, it will not imitate. If you can get somebody who's a little bit less famous, I saw some examples of somebody like Tyler, the Creator, right? Who is like a rapper guy. It's not like he's not on Elon Musk or Bill Gates level, right? But it will generate an image of him, apparently. So it'll kind of work for some people and not for others. So it's kind of hit and miss.
So you're in trouble if you're like sort of famous, because if you're not famous at all, it doesn't know who you are.
Exactly.
Super famous, it won't do it.
Yep.
So
middle of the road, it'll do it.
Any B or C actor, we got you.
Exactly.
We're doing it, man.
But Midjourney will create me an image of somebody that looks kind of like Bill Gates surfing a big wave in Hawaii.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of, even though it's not really, but it's, I think it's.
He's in the
but it will do
there.
it. He's, he's surfing the big wave.
So I guess Bruce Campbell, that'd do Bruce Campbell. He's the most famous B-list actor ever.
Let's, so what I thought we'd do is,
he has a book
why
about
don't we just try it? Does he?
Yeah, called being an A-lister, B-lister, or something like that.
That's funny. So I thought we'd kind of give it a shot, right?
Yeah.
Why not? Let's go take a look at it. I'm going to share my my Edge browser here. Do this in Edge. Close this. We'll do this in Edge. So basically, here's how this works. I'm going to say, what should we create an image of then?
I'm not feeling anything at this moment, but
okay. Let's just say a cat eating a burrito.
Oh, let's do something better than that. Let's do a Jedi Knight.
You didn't give me one.
Let's start with that one first, though. I gotta see this one. Or a cat eating a taco, one or the other.
There you go. Let's just see. Let's see what this says. This can take a minute. The image generation can. There you go. It says I'll try to create that. So it's passed the first test. And then you get this like image generation box come up then. And this will run for a minute. It's seconds. It's probably 30 seconds or so. I've noticed on a lot of these. They're kind of quick. And what it's going to do is it's going to give me 4 options. And there we go. 4 options of a cat eating a burrito. And I can click on them. And I can then take a look at those 4 options.
That's a proper looking burrito over there. Look at that.
It is. The burrito
Taco Bell, no less.
Oh, look.
That looks horrible. The poor cat. Okay, that's much better. That's a good one. That's a cute one. That's a good one. The other one looks like they're torturing the cat with a go back one. Oh my God. It's like, please, master, why? Why you're making me do this?
So I would say for those listening, the images are pretty good. I mean, I would say 2 out of the 4 are kind of okay. That one's kind of weird. The second one is okay, and then the fourth one's pretty
good.
Legit. It's kind of good, right?
Yeah.
So,
but Darth Vader eating a burrito?
Who needs iStock photo anymore?
Well,
what do you want to do, Darth Vader?
Eating a burrito? Let's just see what he can do.
Yeah, just do like this.
Well, let's see if he's too famous.
Good T-shirt.
Right. Let's
Darth Vader eating a burrito.
Let's see.
I want to do burrito eating Darth Vader. That's what I want to do next. See how smart this is, because I have a,
it's going to try
on AI.
It's going to try
a theory on AI.
Okay, it's going to try and create this one. So it hasn't said no, you can't do Darth Vader. That means that Disney hasn't cracked down on them yet. That's
right.
By the time this is out.
Let's see. What's what we got, man?
Let's see.
Goodness.
So it went for a cartoony look.
That's
this
okay.
One, Dark Side Eats. It put some text
What
on
is
here
that?
too.
She's dropping
good,
beans
actually.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Dark Side Eats. I wonder if that's I don't know where it's getting that from.
That's
but it
a
seems
good
to
name
want
of
to
a
include-
restaurant.
Dark Side
Kevin.
Eats. That's a really good name. I'm going to buy
yeah.
that domain name right now. Dark Side Eats. I'm going right now.
This one's pretty good.
Go to.
Okay, that one's pretty good too. That looks more like a less cartoon version.
Do
Darth Vader. This is an
burrito
interesting,
eating Darth Vader. We have to try it.
Okay, let's do create a picture. If I can type of a burrito eating Darth Vader.
Yeah.
This could be bad.
Let's
see what we get.
What was that before? Does it say in his Dark Side Eats? Dark Side or whatever?
Yes, Dark Side Eats.
Dark Side Eats.
Kind of interesting. Yeah, and you can come back and obviously look at these at any point too, and you can save them too from here. So what your options you have, you can share, save, and download as well. So it's kind of that's kind of cool as well. Once you've got these, you can grab them as well and do whatever you want with them. Notice that they do have a Bing watermark in the corner here, bottom left. But I will say you can save it without. It's kind of dumb. Like it's like, yo, you put the watermark on it, but then you didn't actually. Look, it didn't work.
Yes,
but we got different images though. Look,
that they didn't see this. I do have a suspicion about this AI. It's not as smart as people think it is. I think like it has I'm just making stuff up, but basically it has pre-generated kind of like ideas of what to generate on its algorithm, and if it doesn't fit whatever that is, it just won't do it.
Yeah, it knows the words.
It knows the words, but not the structure, the sentence.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Yeah,
so,
it's mixed around the structure because it thinks you meant Darth Vader eating
for
a burrito.
all of you artists out there, see the weakness. You could capitalize on this. You could create art that is completely ridiculous. AI can't do that yet. So there you go.
So I know that you tried this, Bobby, on yours, and you weren't able to generate anything.
I've never been able to get this to work at all. It just says, I'm too busy for you, Bobby. But it says.
So
look at that.
Look at that.
Bruce Campbell is not famous enough. That's him. That's his face.
That's the test that you do. How famous
Bruce
are
Campbell,
you? Let's see.
if you're watching the Not Know podcast right now, we have proven
awesome.
that you're a B-list actor.
That's pretty.
I know you were an amazing
impressive.
Spider-Man.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not. It's a very cartoony image,
but it's
I
him.
Would say.
It's his likeness.
It is him. I would say though, if we put this into Midjourney, which I'm not going to do while we're here, but if we did, and that same thing, it would come up with more of a photorealistic version of him, I think, out of the gate than this would.
Look at that 5 fingers. It got 5 fingers, didn't it? Got him right.
It kind of did in this case. Yeah, it kind of did.
Good.
But I will say, like. Again, I saw a video where somebody said, they fixed the fingers problem on DALL-E, and like they haven't. I saw plenty of images that I made of my own that had they had 5 actual fingers and 1 thumb. It was like, and lots of them came up that way. So it's still not a solved problem, but not bad, right? Not bad.
It's not bad. I mean, like, I think it's limited in usefulness. I still think if you're an artist, you're going to do a better job than this thing will for the most part. But I know that how we use it, Kevin, or how you're using it, I don't do it. But like, we make thumbnails for your YouTube videos and the Not Know Podcast.
The Not Know Podcast have all been AI. Yep.
And it does a really good job with that.
Yeah.
And in some cases, it's things that we wouldn't be able to make. maybe we
Right.
could have. It would take forever, and like so. But again, the resolution's a problem. 1024.
Yep.
Would they ever make it bigger? I don't know.
Yep.
Maybe.
Well, there's no, so right now, this tool itself with DALL-E3 doesn't have any outpainting that you can expand it, but I could take this image and throw it into Photoshop and outpaint.
Yeah. With some
which
skill.
actually, maybe that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Maybe this will be our thumbnail. Maybe Bruce Campbell skydiving will be our thumbnail for this week.
Okay.
So you'll see the final version that has outpainting, and it'll be a 16:9.
Nice.
If you're watching it on YouTube, if you're watching it on, or if you're listening to this us on a podcast, you'll have a square version. It'll look kind of like this.
Yeah.
So you'll
I
be able
like
to see
it.
that image. Yeah.
So I think it's cool. I think it's powerful. I don't think it's going to replace artists per se. I mean, I could be wrong. Maybe it's the end of posters for movies. I don't know. I definitely think the Marvels poster, the last one that came out, was definitely AI generated. It was awful, terrible. It looked really bad. So, but this looks pretty decent. It's pretty cool.
Okay, let's talk about our recommendations for this week then. This is our null, not null section. Anybody got a null for this week? Anybody avoiding something?
I got a null.
Go for it, Bobby. What you got?
All right. So I went on vacation last week. That's why I wasn't here on the podcast. And I rented a car. And I rented a GMC Yukon Denali.
Okay.
We took the family out and we were living large in the big rig. It was super nice. Very nice vehicle. And so the first thing you get in when you're traveling, and you don't know where you're going, is you want to hook your phone up to the navigation or plug in Android Auto or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to do. And if you in GMC vehicles, and I know specifically for this one, is that they charge a fee for mapping or any use for this screen. It's $24.99 a month to use maps. Even if you use Android Auto, it will not display the map on the screen because you have to have a separate data plan. I'm putting that in air quotes if you're watching, a data plan for you to be able to use it. And I told, and so if you don't know, if you've never shopped cars before, a fully loaded Denali is going to be somewhere in the $85,000 to $90,000 range car. It's not a cheap car. It's very
start
expensive.
at 74.
Yeah. And you can't buy a 74. So you got to get the trims and all that stuff. You know how it is. So it's going to be decked out, but be about $90,000. And you got to pay for a fee to activate the navigation and all the other features that the entertainment does. And I'm like, I told my wife, and I was like, we were driving. I said, if I'd bought this car and they didn't tell me this, I swear I would turn it back around and return it. Like, you've got to be kidding me. I just spent $90,000 on a car and I can't use the 14-inch screen in here without paying you $24 a month.
Oh my God.
That's before Sirius. This is just so you can use Android Auto or Apple AirPlay for that matter. Now, it would, even the hands-free, like I said, well, let me just push the hands-free button and make a call. An ad pops up and says, you must have a plan. Shop for plans now.
Oh my God.
What? I can't use my phone in the car. So I had to pick the phone up and dial it. And then it would go over the speaker, but I had no hands-free options. I had no navigation options.
Gosh.
It was awful. It's just the dumbest thing ever.
Did they partner with EA, and that's why they have so many microtransactions?
It sounds like
exactly.
Yeah. It
Them
has that
in Unity.
feel.
It'll be funny where it's like half the feature, like you roll down your window, it's free, but to roll it back up, it's like extra 30 cents. It's like for every time. It's
You're like
the
it's
inconveniences.
raining.
You could turn on the lights, but you can't turn them off unless you have That's what they need to do as the next step.
This is almost as bad as the heated seats from BMW.
This is worse because it's a core feature of the car.
It's like the whole car is one big microtransaction.
So like find the navigation GMC Pro or whatever it is plus safety. Plus.
I don't know. I couldn't see it. The safety this thing. I don't think this is it. I don't think this is.
It'll tell you that it's $24.99 down here on the site. Anyway, I didn't look to see if Ford's doing the same kind of thing or this. There's no way. And so I guess what they think is like if you're buying a $90,000 vehicle, you have money. And so this isn't going to bother you. But I feel like it will bother people because like the last person you nickel and dime is the rich guy. The rich guy comes in, is like, really, bro? You're going to nickel and dime me, man? I mean, like, it's not my 90,000 enough. You know, I don't even want to send you the bill every month. So like, how do we get out of this? Like, I don't want to pay it, you know, and then you have to give it to them. I think they should get, I think they shouldn't be able to put a screen in there. The other thing too is like, you know, these car manufacturers want you to be safe. They don't want you to be driving. This ad's popping up on the screen the whole time, you know? So now I've got these pop-up ads in the truck that I'm driving. I'm like, I'm trying to make a right turn here. You know, and you're telling me to shut up.
Bobby, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. Like, what's the price would you put on your safety, your children's safety? Is having ads served to you
$24.99?
Right, exactly. It's $24.99. So we disable ads in your vehicle. Is it worth the safety of you? So that's their plan. They try to kill you with inconvenience.
So I need an ad blocker in my car now. It's an ad blocker plus.
The whole car won't work. You put that blocker on that thing. But that's crazy because to me, it's like, it's ridiculous that the whole idea is everything is a service. You don't owe anything. Even if you bought it, you don't own it. Like, I bought a bunch of games on Steam and then they took them off Steam. I paid for them, but I could never download them again because they're no longer in Steam. And I'm like, so I didn't pay for the game. I paid for the right to use it until you decide to. And that's crazy. Yep. I think that's where we're going.
And what I don't understand is, like, you can go to a third party manufacturer and go, hey, replace the info system and give me one. I guess you could pull it out and put one in and change it. But
that would be a nightmare.
We used to do that all the time.
We used to, but now they're all built into the specific sizes, and they're very much built into the car. A lot of times the air conditioning is controlled by the same infotainment system. So it's...
Yeah, I think, and once you take it out, the whole car will be bricked. Like, you can't uninstall iTunes from a Mac. Are you kidding me? It'll break the whole computer. That's ridiculous.
Anyway, so that's my no for the week. Because of this, I would never buy a Denali. I wouldn't do it. I don't care if I win the lottery tonight and I have $1.2 billion and I have more disposable income than anybody.
Well, I have a better car than a Denali.
Yeah.
Just saying.
What car is that? What car is better than a Denali, Kevin?
I mean, a G-Wagon is a million times better than one of these. Come on. I mean, I don't know, Lambo, truck. I'll take any of the, Denali. I'm not touching a Denali.
$24.99. It's more than Netflix. I mean, I was just like, I was shocked at the price.
That's insane.
Okay. Paul, what you got this week?
Oh, it's like, so I've had an iPad, but I recently, so I have a little iPad here. I recently took on drawing. And so the new iPencil is pretty awesome. And the fact that I love about it, so like digital art, like I don't waste paper. It's kind of cool. I get to delete stuff again. And I've been really, really enjoying it. And just wonder why I haven't been using it earlier. But it's kind of cool. If you're creative, you like to doodle, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice.
Yeah, I agree. I have one of these too. The double tap to change tools thing here, I think is great because in most apps that moves between drawing and erasing.
Yeah. Which
is great because you just double tap the side of it and you erase something and you double tap again and start drawing something again. I have one of these too. I will say one thing about them. They do run out of power quickly. You've always got to have it plugged in. If you leave it off the thing for a day or 2 days, you pick it up and it's got no power.
Yeah. The
drain when it's the passive drain is high on it. I don't know why.
How do you charge it? Does it have a USB connector?
So magnetic.
Yeah, on my iPad, it's just magnetic to the top here, and it charges through this.
Use it to take notes. Can you write with it?
Yeah, you could use it for all that stuff. I just started using it for drawing. I'm not a big fan of note taking, which is apparent at my job, which is something I have to improve. But whatever, that's a whole topic for another discussion. But,
that was in your employee review.
Speaking of which, I did have my review today, and one of the things was things that you do well, you do really, really well, and then it's but you're note taking because we use Notion for everything, and I'm just remote work. That's the struggle with remote work. If you're not taking notes, that means you're not doing anything. That's basically what that means.
I can see your boss proof. Now.
Funny.
There's no proof.
I'm giving you one of these.
Yeah, exactly.
Use it.
Exactly. So, and I'm a man of like, I talk a lot in real life, but inside I'm a man of few words. I'm a man of action. And so like, that's why I don't take notes. I just do the thing.
I like it. That's what you said.
That's what I said. And
I'm a
he's
man
like,
of action.
It's like, you're going to be a man of note taking. That's what you got to be. This is because it's like, it's basically, he wanted to say, if a tree falls in the forest and no one hears it, did it really fall? I'm like, oh man. Yeah. So I got to become master note taker.
There you go.
It's good skill.
Any apps that what app are you using to sketch stuff in it? Are you using Sketch?
I have a bunch of them. Like, I don't have from the top of my mind, and my battery died, so I don't remember the name because I was trying.
I think Procreate is kind of
is one of my favorite ones. Yeah, that's like a big popular one. But I have 10 different ones. So I'm trying to figure out which one I like best. But it's Procreate is a really, really good one. That's the one that I use most.
I've tried a bunch of these in the past. I have a Wacom in my desk. I never could get the handle of drawing without looking, and I think this would change that because you're actually drawing like you're on paper. Wacom, you had to look at the screen and draw. I thought that was really hard to do.
Yeah. Wacom does have higher end tablets where they have a screen on them too, the bigger ones, but they are very expensive compared to getting an iPad and an Apple Pencil.
Yeah, they supply them to like comic artists like Marvel and DC.
And when I say draw, just so people really get a clear picture, I get a picture offline and I put it and then I trace over it. That's how I draw. And then I remove.
I think that's a fine way to do it.
Remove the image and people are like, oh my God, you drew that? I'm like, yes.
I thought you were going to say stick figures for a second.
Stick figure, I do draw stick figure. Like that's my that was when I met my ex-wife. One of the first things we did, we were like on our first date, and I'm sitting there and I have this intense look on my face, and I'm like pretending like I'm drawing her face, and I'm like putting all this effort. Like 10 minutes into it, it's like the oldest trick in the book, and she's trying to peek, and I'm like, no, don't look, it's almost done. And then I finally showed her it's a stick figure, so she walked out. And eventually we got married, but that was great. It was a great fun story, but
that's awesome.
So
okay, my not know for this week, I'm recommending something that I've recommended before, but I'm going to say with the caveat that this is the newer version of something, and it is the Fire TV stick. It's specifically the Fire TV Stick 4K Max. Catchy name, Amazon. Super catchy name. Just if you can't know, you make it a little bit more complex. They just add new words to it every year, I swear. So this year, this is a second generation Fire TV Stick 4K Max. So the reason I got this, I had the previous generation Fire TV Stick 4K Max, first generation one. This is now second gen. They added a bunch of stuff this year. They had basically the processor. It's a quad core, 2 gigahertz processor in it. Like that's crazy for something this size because the stick itself is small. They also, the two things that did it for me were, they expanded the storage. They doubled it, 16 gig of storage on this now. My last one kept filling up because having 16 streaming services meant that every single one of them apps took up space, and all the cache for those apps and all the downloads for those apps, they took up so much space. They were just filling up the device. So they doubled the size, which is great. And it has Wi-Fi 6E, which I'm going to upgrade here very shortly, which will give me faster data rates to it. So that alone. And then also this time they added Dolby Atmos too, which is great. So if you have Dolby Atmos support, you can get it in this one too. So, and all that for $60.
It's definitely cheaper than Roku. Roku's very expensive compared to this.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The price for these things are nuts. I think it's crazy price.
Fact for those, because I have like some older TVs that are not smart, and the fact that you just plug it in, problem fixed, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I bought a couple of them. One for living room, one for bedroom for TVs. Just because I like the unified experience. Like it's the same everywhere. It's the same remote. I turn it on because I have Samsung TVs, right? But they're of different generations. Yeah. So the OS that's on them works differently. So Samsung keeps changing theirs, but if I can unify it by having a Fire TV stick, I'm just going to have the same experience on every one of my TVs. Doesn't matter. I know exactly where the apps are. I put them all in the same place, same apps. It's easy. Navigation is easy. I don't have to remember, how do I do that again to find that app again on that version of Samsung OS on that TV? It's just annoying.
Exactly.
I don't want to do that.
That's
So
actually also
it
like
just
a
makes
very
me-
good point, because like my TV, it's not that old, but it is a little bit older. It's nice. So the OS on a normal TV, it's like a little bit slow. It's not as responsive.
Yes.
And I could just get
Yep.
this, upgrade the experience, and not worry
Exactly.
about buying a new TV. That's
And I will
cool.
say, jumping straight from a Gen 1 to a Gen 2 for this 4K Max version, it's way snappier. Like the menus are snappier, the way it loads stuff is quicker. Like just jumping into something like Netflix is quicker. Like it's just quicker across the board. It just feels way more. You started to notice like the one was kind of dragging a little bit. The more you did, like it's not always as intuitive on the remote. Yeah, it's way better. The only thing I will say, there is one downside to this that I don't like. They changed the screensaver. I know that's a really stupid thing to not like, but they changed it to this ambient experience thing, which they call it here. Like you see it on the image here, Fire TV ambient experience. I think it's dumb. It's like a screensaver with widgets on it.
Oh my goodness.
But the problem is, you like a normal screensaver, right? On a previous version, you just pushed any button on your remote and it took you back to where you were. What happens now is this loads an application, this Fire TV Ambient Experience application with widgets. Now when you push the button to wake it back up again, it has to reload the application again. So you reload Netflix again. You get the loading animation. It just takes longer.
Yeah.
So I've turned it off.
Annoying.
Okay.
Oh, that's good that you could turn it off, though.
You can
That's
turn
good.
it
Yeah,
off.
that's good. Yeah, because
Yeah. It's like
you almost
it's a bug,
convinced me
not a
to
feature.
buy this thing and then unconvinced me to buy it. I'm glad that you could turn it off, because that did sound annoying.
And if you don't need one of these right now, too, I would wait. Prime Day's coming up. I guarantee they'll be on sale. They're $59.99 right now. I would say they're going to be $49 is my guess, or $39. You're going to be able to pick one of these for $40 is my guess.
Okay.
I think that's
cool.
on October 10th or 11th, I think, coming up. They're always on sale. Whenever they have a Prime Day deal, this is one of the items they always put on sale, so I guarantee it'll be on sale. Just keep an eye out. You better pick it up cheap.
Perfect, man. I like it. We use it in-house. Our alarm system has an app on a Fire Stick where we can monitor our exterior cameras
Oh, nice.
on a television using the Fire Stick.
Oh,
Kinda
that's
neat.
cool.
There you go. Yeah. Cool tech for what I think is a cheap price for what it is.
It's
Kind of
interesting.
crazy.
You can
Yeah.
make apps for it. You're going to make a
Yeah,
not
you
null
can.
app for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Not null podcast app.
Just watch the podcast on repeat.
Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yeah, that's actually pretty
Like that.
interesting.
Yeah, that is. Okay, well, that's it for this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast. As I always ask, leave us a review somewhere. That'd be great. Send us an email to thenotnullpodcast@aol.com. I still don't have any to read out this week. Actually, I didn't check it today, so there may have been some today. I just didn't check it. But we were at inbox 0 last week when I checked, so nobody mailed us. Again, all complaints around Paul's views, which are not the views of everybody else on this podcast, go to thenotnullpodcast@aol.com.
Let's try to keep a straight face. Didn't work out.
And we'll catch everybody next week.